Green. Yeah, green. Wow, I can't see any of your profile pictures. What the heck? What does this mean? Nice haircut. Thank you. Are you drawn, son? Have been. Will still continue to draw. Okay, now all of the profile pictures are loading in. That's much preferable. This is gonna be chill. You fucking know it. The art of doing nothing. Hey, thank you, Volgan. That's my man, the Volgan. He's... Well, you should already know who he is. But in context of my work, he voices the Swordsman from episode 5 and Elder Freestanding Bathroom Cabinet from episode 6 and 7. Yeah. Hey, yo, remember ya boy, Soviet Union. Welcome back, comrade. Don't do anything naughty. No KGB, no NKVD, no gulags. Just chill. You have very funky and cool hair. Thank you, Zaral Salsa. Go SCP video. Go SCP video. Wow. I'm allowed to stream. I like stream. I voice all the fat people. Yeah. I have awoken. Hey Matt, took a little nap. Oh, I hope it was good and comfy. How we doing, my dude? Ask Thumb Lads. Oh, not the thumbs from Spy Kids. Oh no. I'm doing alright. But what's the word? Not sober. But I thought it'd be fun, you know. I thought it'd be fun to have a stream. Whoa. Like this. I love these chill streams so much. Thank you, Komiko. What do you call a skeleton's favorite snack? Ribs. Oh, Emma. Oh, why are you doing this to me? Oh, I'm gonna bust a gut. I'm gonna bust a gut from laughing. Oswell, the great and powerful, welcome to the stream. We just chill. Sometimes we talk about philosophy. Sometimes we talk about nothing at all. Sometimes, well, we'll see how this chat goes. It's different every time. Do you have any pokers? Yeah, hold up. Yeah, I think that's a pog right there. Oh shit. How's Mustard Man going? Thank you so much, Rex Scrubs, for the $8. I'm gonna have to think of what Mustard Man's up to now. Okay, so Mustard Man wasn't able to get healed from his injuries in using medicine, so he traveled all the way to Kathmandu, and right now he is consulting with the Ancient One, and hopefully he'll be able to be a Mustard again. I don't know what's wrong with Mustard Man. What did I say? Doesn't matter. Either way, Mustard Man is on a powerful spiritual journey, and you have to respect that. Or you don't have to respect that. Doesn't matter. It'll be part of his journey regardless. Thank you, seriously, Grass. I appreciate that. Will NTF units ever be in any SCP confinement videos? I feel like they have been. At least that's what I've been naming them in my folders. I guess those are just guards. Are the guards not the same as the MTF units? I thought they were all kind of interchangeable. Whatever. Some of y'all gotta be patient about this confinement business. Y'all Disley, Bamboo, Maymunu. I'm sorry you had lots of stress. Welcome to the chill chat. Here we just talk about why we are vibing. And why is it that we like to vibe while simultaneously also like putting ourselves in stressful scenarios? You know? It's like when we're given the permission to relax, we relax really, really hard because we know for certain that this is the designated relaxation time. Isn't that interesting? It's almost like our obsession with doing and then organizing and structuring and then limiting is this completely time-consuming, stressful thing that we do every day. You know, this compulsion. I need to be doing something. I need to be doing something. And yet, when we're offered the opportunity to relax, we're like, yes, okay, I'll take it, please. What is up with that? Oh, you're vibing? Say hypothetically, I've been trapped inside a being. Save me, I implore you. Footsteps. I hear my car. Oh no. Hey Bung, can you review my art? I posted in your Discord. Show off your content channel. Let me see. Show off your content. Which one's your art? GeForce Online? Is that your name? Yeah, GeForce Online. It's very cute. Yeah. Little cat with a sword. Very nice. We do be vibing. How's the new episode going? It's going quite good. Thank you for asking. You know what? The way you pronounce my nickname was better than any morale speech I've ever seen. Oh man. Is the hair like a new thing? I've watched you streaming a while. Yeah, I just did it today. Humans are very silly creatures when you think about it. Like, why do we be standing like that? It gives us back pain. Yeah, like, you know, we like to think that we're living our healthiest lives, but how much of it is just a habit that we've been taught and gotten used to, and it just hasn't been too much of a problem yet. You know, like the way that we stand or the way that we shit even, you know. In the West, a lot of people sit up straight to shit. And it's actually not very good for the funny little pipes down there. We're meant to be leaning forward to shit like a mammal, you know, like every other mammal. That's just sort of how we evolved to squat when we shit, you know. And since toilet downhill. The men of mustard are a group of mustard people that are conspiring against the Illuminati. Is that right? Well, right now they're unlocking some very secret powers. Rex Scrubs. Thank you for the $8, by the way. Right now they're unraveling what reality really is. And I'm very afraid to see a universe made in Mustard God's image. Where's Spinning Monkey GIF? I think I might have deleted it. Can I procrastinate here before I do my assignments? You do whatever you want to do, Mythia. Toilet was start of the downfall of the human race. Definitely started a lot of asshole problems, you know what I mean? Since when do you have colored hair? Since a couple hours ago. How make back not hurt help? The only thing that I found that helps is getting into the habit of stepping outside of what I'm doing and remembering that I have a body. Remembering that a body is here and that I have direct influence over it. So it's like I have a note on my screen that says check your back. It doesn't really help because you can get lost in things even if you're looking directly at a sign that says stop getting lost in things, because it's just a habit. It's like how often you've done it throughout your life in the past makes it just normal for you now to do it. Like, of course I'm getting lost in this thought. Why we I have no control over that. You do actually, but it's just habits that are really deeply ingrained in us feel like they're out of control. But most things can be changed, I think. And so I'm getting into the habit of just jumping out of what I'm doing and then stepping into my body and remembering, like, oh shit, I'm here. And I do that every time I get lost in a thought, every time I get stuck on a song in my head or some idea, or I'm just playing around in some sort of imaginary landscape, which I like to do. I used to be just completely zombified all day, just lost in fantasy, lost in like arguments that I could make with people. Like today, I was getting my hair done. It took like 3 hours, and the entire time I was stuck on this one weird fantasy where I was a badass, where I was so cool, and I stood up to somebody from my past and just. But even throughout that experience, I kept jumping out of it like, oh my god, I'm such a dork. Like, and then of course falling back in, being like, yeah, but I'd say this to them. This will piss them off so much. Like, you know. It didn't start with the toilet, it started with the bucket. I feel like you'd still be leaning forward to shit in a bucket, right? Which is still better for you than sitting upright on a toilet. Thank you, David. Your bungness. I very much appreciate the work you put into your vids. That's what they said. There are stretches that I keep forgetting to do though, just because stretches are a routine thing and I'm not very good at that. But when I remember, they're just these stretches. It's like 3 different stretches up against the wall, and they're quite good. I think. I think they're good. I don't know. My posture hasn't actually improved. You're gonna have to be patient, Soviet Union. Can't believe Soviet Union rushing Lord Bung. Worst thing they've ever done as a nation. New hair color. Love the hair, by the way. Thank you, not an alien. No worries. I'm a piss the bed. Thank you, Freddy. I'm not gonna pronounce that name. Thanks for reviewing my art that made my day. No worries, GeForce Online. I was talking about religion the other day with my Kirtan meditation teacher, and we were talking about how people interpret the Bible, and how most people in mainstream Christianity don't interpret the Bible. Well, they don't interpret it very deeply. They take it literally, and they read it like a person who has lived their entire life having to, you know, like vehemently obeying authority, and looking up to another human being in a way, in a sort of imperialistic, monarchical way. And I think that's because Christianity was born. A lot of these the mainstream religions were born out of strict hierarchical societies, and so our mindset is to interpret the idea of God as a dude who is sitting at the top of everything, sitting outside of everything, like a watchmaker creating the universe. But I think that literally is just the political conditioning. I don't think if you interpret any religious text deeply enough, you'd come to the conclusion that it's basically metaphor. Just to be a little simple about it, basically metaphor. Oh Jesus, those hair look awful. Okay, Sandra Nana, that's fine. You're allowed to have that opinion. I know I look like fucking South Park's Mexican Joker. But I like it, so I don't really give a shit what you say. I finally decided to join the Discord. I hope you have fun, seriously, Grass. They take the Bible selectively literally. Yeah. Selectively literally, you know, whichever is politically relevant to them. But if you take any of it literally in the same way that we are, right now this moment is literally true, then you're making a mistake. Because there is no moment like right now. The past is the past. Have you ever been to the past? I didn't think so. I'm kind of Christian. Bible isn't really important to me. The train of thought is more like, hey, God and heaven probably exist, and that's kind of neat, I think. Yeah. I mean, like, when you introduce Christianity to millions of people across the planet, you have, like, loads of different interpretations of it. But most of them still imply that there is a God sitting outside of the universe that created it. And I don't think that's accurate, because the universe means everything. And so if you do believe God is real, then God has to be part of the universe. My take, personally, is the Buddhist take that what God actually is not a person, like a magical being. God is just the totality of every single particle of the universe. I grew up around Christians, they generally just want to help people. Well, I didn't say anything in contrary to that. And I'm sure the Christians that you were surrounded with genuinely wanted to help people. I think every single human being, to some degree, has felt the urge to help people, though. That doesn't make anybody special. What I'm talking about specifically, I'm not criticizing them as people, their character. What I'm criticizing is their interpretation of something that is a metaphor. Not that I think they have it wrong, I just think that there are different side effects to interpreting things literally. If you take everything in life too literally, that is to say, too seriously, then you're just going to be more intense as a person. You might be more destructive, you might be more paranoid, you might be more fearful if you take it too seriously. And I don't know, this seems to be what's happened. Thank you, Rex Krubs, for the $8. I'm not in charge of SCPs coming out. You're gonna have to write all the letters, send them to the SCP Foundation address. Just redacted. Oh, thank you, Tau5, Samsara. God is just a dog watching the rain and just chilling. God is literally that. What you decide to draw your attention to in this life is God. Everything that you notice in life, you know, all the little moments, all of the events, this continuous event, that is God. Every time you feel significance or a lack of significance in everything that you experience, that is also God. It is not a dude. I don't like saying God because, you know, you think of the Christian God that you get taught in Bible camp or whatever, and it's like, ugh. But that's my interpretation of God. You know, he's not a person. It's not a political figure, which is what God in the mainstream is very much, is a political figure, if anything. Bung turned his hair to wasabi. Gotta laugh or you'll cry, right, boss? Doesn't sound like a very fun way of living. There's nothing wrong with crying. Where is confinement? Episode 8. You're gonna have to be patient. I'm sorry. What games do you play in free time? Danganronpa right now. I'm up to Danganronpa 2. Having a lot of fun with that. What else? Man, I've been thinking about Viva Pinata a lot lately. I miss Viva Pinata so much. The universe is just one big vibe. It is. Where's little boy Alfred? Oh, I think he's hanging out with my brother right now. Hey, Komigotis. I'm pretty good today. You know, got everything I wanted to do today done. And now I am just relaxed. I'm not as relaxed as I could be, though. I don't know why. Some part of me is not still, you know? The brain went out for lunch. This is blowing my mind. I love this new perspective. Thank you, Clockwise Colin. You like some other animators on YouTube? Yeah, Super Science Friends are really fun. They were a huge inspiration for me. They sort of made me feel like, oh, I could do something. I could make something look good, and it doesn't, and I don't have to put. I'm a beginner animator, so nobody's expecting too much as long as I'm able to set it up to be more atmospheric or more stylized visually in its static form, you know? So definitely recommend them. Umami is also really good. They do this animated series called Interface. Highly recommend that. It's kind of weird and creepy, but definitely an interesting vibe. Zelinki, definitely recommend him. Actually commissioned a song that he sung because he's a really good musician as well. In this episode of Confinement, but he's also a very good animator, so check him out. Zelinki, Zalinki. Rather than there being a cosmic truth or universally known truth, I believe that everyone has their own version of truth or reality tailored to them. That's my TED Talk done and dusted. Yeah, I think the subjective experience is the only experience. I don't think there's... I think an objective experience goes about as far as a whole bunch of people agreeing on one truth. That's as far as it goes. Because reality isn't... You can't describe reality. The moment that you describe reality, you've just turned it into a symbol. And then you pass on that symbol to somebody else and they're going to interpret it differently. No matter how many times, you could say the same word in a classroom of 30 kids and they will interpret it differently in slightly different ways. And some significant ways, but these are all important because everybody's experience is actually subjective. We're trying so hard to shove everybody in these boxes that fit perfectly, but it's like looking at like a big color board where you have all the colors and it's just kind of like a big hue of every color that exists. It's like it is literally putting like a grid over it and saying that, if you fit in this box, you're one thing. If you fit in that box, you're another. But it's like we're trying to chop down reality into smaller and smaller pieces. We're not actually coming closer to any truth. We're just categorizing at a much finer level, which helps if you're trying to get something out of reality, like you're trying to invent something using resources, or you're trying to consume something using resources, but that's literally no different from somebody at the dinner plate with like a kid with their dinner plate, just like seeing if they could cut peas in half just for the fucking hell of it. It's not, you're not actually finding any deeper truths. You might be finding people's previous misconceptions about things are now updated and more refined, but it doesn't tell you whether or not you should live your life or whether or not you should actually just go and kill yourself. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna find the atom that tells me that I should actually be happy and that all of my whining is bullshit. And that's why I think people who are just too scientifically minded, in which every aspect of their life is governed by rigorous scrutiny and exclusivity and harsh, strict categorization. I used to live that way, and I don't want to live that way anymore. It was too much. I tried to kill myself too often. Sorry to get blue there. But I think I should be able to talk about this. I think it's not scary to talk about death, and I don't want that to be weird. I don't want that to be weird for anybody. I know it is weird for a lot of people, but I don't think it should be, you know what I mean? I think God is everyone, God is whoever we want it to be. I don't believe in God, but I believe everything we do in the universe is creating a difference, and that difference is what we call God. Absolutely. Like, if you want to simplify all of reality, it is you know, in the computer realm, it'll be a binary code of just, you know, but in the spiritual realm, that would be more like polarities. Everything is made up of the polarity between two imaginary things that are inseparable from each other, actually representing one imaginary thing. So sorry I'm late, but I'm here now. All good, Time Hub? We are just vibing. I hate slow mode. I could change it just a little bit. Because you have to understand, I cannot read all these that quickly. I am high. Now that is deep. I'm sorry, Epic Toast Bread. You do what you gotta do. Dude, if I could hug you, I would. Oh, thank you. I'm not sure why. I hope it's not because I seem sad. I'm not sad. Reality is complex, but it's calculable. Well, we make it calculable. We are the ones looking at reality and saying that it needs to be calculated. It doesn't. Nothing needs to happen. This is just a thing we like to do, and we feel like we're smart because we do it. You know? Just separating up reality into these categories and saying this is what it is. And it's helpful. I'm not saying that language isn't helpful. It's very helpful in context of, you know, language. But if you want to truly be experiencing reality, then you wouldn't need to use the symbol set that represents reality. You can just go out and experience reality. And most people have a hard time doing that because we want to be busy. We want to feel like we're achieving something, even though what we're trying to achieve is just to calm down a little bit enough to experience reality. And we can just experience reality every second of the day. It's just that some of our reality is, it's gross, it's boring, it's uncomfortable, it's painful. You know, sometimes it's just outright intolerable. And so we get into the habit of not experiencing reality. We just get stuck in our heads, and we try not to take in as much as we can. And that's made us very vulnerable to when bad things do happen in life, and it's like, well, I've been working so fucking hard to ignore even the most slightest bit of discomfort in my life that when something actually bad happens, you're gone, you know. So why do we do that? You know, why do we have such a gambling attitude to reality? I'm sorry, that one ship guy, VA, that you're sad. Is 500 UG too much? I think maybe that might be too much, depending on what you're taking. Long live Mustard Man. I like your hair. Thank you, Reese Mason. I like it too. I feel weird talking about it. It's not good to talk about when your experience helps you heal. Help me heal anyways. Yeah, you know, like, to make my life easier, I'm trying to get more into the habit of being open. That means just being less exclusive and judgmental. Like in the past, I'm sure some of you may have had the misfortune of witnessing this, but I was very critical of movies, and I would just whine about them all the time. And I still do sometimes, just a little bit, like but it didn't make me happy usually. It was just like, I felt like I had to do it. I felt like I had to look at this movie, have a bad time, and not, which is, you know, not the bad part. Obviously, you can have a bad time watching a movie. It's not in your power. But I decided that I must egg it on by complaining about it, just nitpicking exactly all of the reasons why I hated it. And it's like, at the end of the day, I'm just making the experience worse. But it's okay because I'm right about the experience, and therefore I can feel a quick ego boost. Like, look at how analytical and smart I am. Man, I was such a I was such a fucking twat. I'm not any less of a twat now, but I'm not. But I enjoy movies now. I enjoy all sorts of movies, even if they're not ones that I would choose to watch. It's funny. Everything is calculable, but constant calculation exhausting and not fun. Yeah, everything is calculable because we make up everything. We make up the idea of thing. So it's calculable, but what's the point of it, you know? Like, we make up a game called Let's Name Everything, and now we have entire swaths of people whose job is to just either name things or utilize the fact that everything has a name in a categorical system. Anyone here thinks Bung is like that one chill friend that would get high off with just talk about random things? I hope I come off as that friend and not in a loser way. Reality is just a crazy acid trip and we're trying to turn it into something that makes sense. Absolutely. Not gonna lie, bad haircut. Well, whatever. I like it. Alright, see you, Templar Haywood. Nobody's completely okay in this day and age. Well, nobody's completely okay, full stop. Well, I wouldn't. Yeah, that's not totally true. But it's interesting to see people who get out of troubling situations, you know, like poverty or like an abusive family or relationship. And I'm just speaking from my experience. Moving out into a place that on paper is all good, but somehow you've just mentally brought it all with you, and you feel like you need to find replacements for these feelings about that caused all this trauma in the past. Sandra, I never said naming things is bad. Why are you so salty? It's man. I kind of love it, actually. I kind of love it. I kind of love how salty you are. Nice hair color, it suits you. Thank you, Rumble City. Well, I'm sure you were just mistaken. And so I am explaining that I don't think naming things is bad. I think people rely on it too much. That is all. Everything is good in moderation. If I have to establish a whole bunch of prefaces before I make such offensive statements like the fact that we name things is not reality. It's not an accurate representation of reality. It's just symbols. And they're useful, but that's all they are useful, because we only create symbols so that we can use nature, so we can use reality. Good morning. Hey Lish. Hey Lish. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a good day so far. Doesn't need to be complicated. Life is what you make it. Exactly. Alright, long live Mustard Man. See you later, Rex Scrubs. Adios. It's just the process of observation. It's the same reason people believe in a god. The world is scary and unknown. Having names and categories helps humans cope with consciousness. Definitely. I absolutely agree that that is at least part of the reason why we do these things. I think that, however, logically the next step in evolution is to be aware of that. And once you become aware of these things, they end up becoming less controlling over you. And so all of our irrational fears, and our rational fears, whatever that's meant to be, become transcended. It's simply through the acknowledgement of these reoccurring impulses. That is the next step in evolution for me, is becoming, not for me, I mean, in my opinion, but instead we're just adding machinery onto us. We're doing for the sake of doing, and adding machinery onto it, we could do it more efficiently. Yeah, but you're just doing for the sake of doing. Does anyone hear what I'm saying? How'd you and your boyfriend meet? Well, we've known each other for a few years. I think in the artist community, or the commentary community, one of those. My situation isn't even bad, but somehow my brain is just draining that dopamine from me like a vampire day by day. Fun times. Yeah, it's like because our brain isn't in the habit of producing dopamine, because our lifestyle still greatly implies that there is a danger. I was rather polite, to be honest. I was about 5% salty at best. What is that thumbnail? I actually don't remember what the thumbnail is for this video. Is it the Yoda? Thank you, Ellen Green. I've been waiting for one of these streams after what happened yesterday with my girlfriend. Oh, I'm sorry, Rumble City. I hope it... I mean, I don't even know if it's like a good thing or a bad thing. I hope it wasn't a bad thing. I quite like knowing how different things interact with on a minuscule level, but it's absolutely useless to me. Why should I care? I just find it very interesting. Like I think that's a pure reason to do it, is because you want to do it. I think that's where, like, true scientific thinking is when the curiosity is there, and that's what's driving you, not just like, I'm gonna make this crazy hypothetical machine because I'm being paid to by some rich guy who has a special interest. I think being able to apply science into your daily life out of pure curiosity is, you know, it's like giving the wheel to somebody who knows how to drive. Will you hop on Discord later? Yeah, probably. My morning been good. Going to be recording an Omegle video later. Today's lecture was very chill. Hope you're having a great day. Hey, good luck with that Omegle video. Watch out for all of the cocks. My day's been quite good. Have you seen Vikings? If so, would you rate Ragnar's haircut? I consider it for myself to require validation. I haven't seen Vikings, sorry. I'm so sorry. What do you think of Japan? I haven't been to Japan, sorry. That hair told me I miss a lot of stuff, huh? Not really, I just got it today. Mod Squad. Yeah, and doing for the sake of doing isn't making anyone happier. Yeah, like, why would we, if... I don't consider a future in which all we've done is made our buildings bigger and made our vehicles more mobile. That is just like a symptom of what will happen if we are on the same track that we're on currently, vis-a-vis technology ascension. But you're not actually finding any deeper truths, you're not finding any meaning to life, or you're definitely not cultivating it. You're just cultivating a habit of, I can get better because I can. And it's almost like this attitude of controlling nature to turn into an image that is more convenient for me, a human being. It isn't necessarily out of a hate for nature, but the action is. The action implies that nature is bad. You know, the action implies that nature isn't good enough, even though we evolved in it. And only for the past couple of thousand years have we been building walls to start separating ourselves from nature in a very intense way. You know? Yo, blue hair. Oh, it's actually green, but it is a bluey green, so yeah, I'll forgive you. I'm sorry if you're colorblind and I just made you insecure about that. Cock, 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 cock. What do you think of China? I haven't been. I like creating art even though it is doing for the sake of doing. It feels good to know I'm leaving a little piece of myself on this earth when I die through my art. Oh, yeah, no, I totally get that. I suppose doing for the sake of doing isn't the best way of putting it. But like, when somebody creates a mech suit, they're not doing it because they want to face the vulnerability inside of themselves or whatever. They're doing it because they want to change the rest of the world around them to be safer for them. But when you're doing art for the sake of doing, you're doing it out of pure curiosity though, you know, because you don't really know how it's going to turn out. You kind of have an idea, but you're not super attached to the idea, because if it turns out different, but it still looks good, you're like, oh yeah, you know. You want to feel that amazing feeling of like, that came out of me? like a parent or something. I created that. Personally, I like drawing because of the relationship with the drawing. You know, the little dance that you do when you're drawing with a pencil or a pen or whatever. You are trying to create something and it doesn't turn out exactly right, and so you work with it, and so you, through all of these compromises, you end up creating the final product. And then people, of course, who are perfectionists and who are really controlling are like, no, restart, just trying to get it perfectly. But I think an important part of art is letting go, you know. I retain my dopamine levels by suppressing my negative energy and smiling a lot. Sometimes all you need to do is change your day as a smile. Pure leak sometimes overall, I think I'm content. I hope you're not suppressing too hard, because I don't know. Maybe it's a language thing, but I wouldn't use the word suppress to describe how you should treat negative energy. Doesn't shit itself. I think I'm dyeing my hair bright color lately. I miss camping in the woods in Sweden. Nature is pretty sexy. Explore forests, go skinny dipping, lie down and feel the grass. I don't know, I want to feel. That sounds amazing. Can we go camping in Sweden when Corona decides to fuck off? I don't like to look for a reason, it's stressful. Why do I need a reason for anything? Exactly. As long as you're aware of what your impulses are, and aware of what you want them to be, then you don't have to think up reasons to do anything. You'll just end up doing things naturally anyway. Would you ever want to do animation for a company? I don't think I'm that good an animator, if I'm being honest. I might do backgrounds or something, I don't know, I might do like designs, but not animating, I don't think. Hello, Mr. Bung. Hello, Vices. I read way too much manga. Well, if you enjoy it, then it's not too much. Perfectionism messed with me for a long time. The whole being card gifted thing in school doesn't help. It's good to learn that perfectionism doesn't lend itself very well to development. Yeah, no, it's in its nature, it's to stop you developing, you know, it's restrictive. It's making it extra hard, and if it's enforced on you, it can put you off of that, like that subject in school altogether, you know, and you won't even want to pursue art because of some terrible memory that somebody felt like they needed to control you in that way. But nobody likes being told what to do, you know? That's why schools are always like universally made fun of in media for being boring and shitty and useless. And these are people who went to school and who came out and who became famous and made movies and said, hey, school didn't fucking help me, you know? Can we have a group camp trip in Sweden, please? Thanks. I would literally murder to do that. That sounds so fucking gorgeous. A camp trip in Sweden. I'm gonna have to get used to the cold, so can we do it in summer? Which color though? I reckon some kind of blue, some kind of aqua. My B inhibition isn't exactly a capability at present. Inhibition? What are you talking about? Inhibition isn't exactly a capability at present. Man, I'm too high to understand what that means. Your animation's so smooth and your art style is just pro level, my god. Thank you. I think it's good and it passes for YouTube, but I would feel insecure about my stuff being on TV. That's just me. I do think my work is good though. I like my work. I don't feel that confident about my work. You know. I am but a simple man and I still have insecurities. I am a simple they them, he him. And all I have is my green hair and my bottle of clear liquids. Rain music used to calm me all the way down, but these days it just makes me sad. And I hate that fact with all my heart. I don't know, just not feeling the good feels right now. I'm so sorry, not an alien. It sounds like it really sucks. Well, you can't stop, though, is the thing. This is not me demanding you of anything. You are gonna end up looking for something that makes you feel that way again. There are too many things out there, and you have so much time. You're gonna find it in something. Just literally be open to everything. That doesn't mean do whatever anybody says to you. Whenever I mean be open to anything, I mean be open to how it feels to you. If you're even a little bit curious, just follow that curiosity, see if it's a genuine thing. See if it's a genuine thing that's worth following out. Only you can tell. But, you know, because the point is trying to change, so why would you listen to the part of you that is saying stay the same? You know what I mean? Australia doesn't open its borders by July. ScoMo and I are gonna have some words. Yes! Karen the fuck out of him. Camp during the summer. I'm not a sadist. Wouldn't make y'all camp in winter. Yeah, what the fuck? I would literally just like be a corpsicle. I'd camp in winter. I don't feel the cold as much as other people do. Damn. At school, I find it pretty hard to deal with typically older teachers trying to maintain that role of authority over me, and when I really want teachers that don't try to get over their students. Yeah, no, I feel that. Gonta is best boy. Thank you, Jack Crow. I haven't met him yet, actually. I shouldn't be saying that. I'm just, from everything that my boyfriend's been showing, I'm really excited to meet Gonta in Danganronpa 3. Yeah, no, the authority role is definitely an off-putting thing for me as a kid too. It, like, I never developed some kind of reverence or respect for authority as a kid. I just developed the fear of it. And so, naturally, nothing worked. I wasn't I wasn't vibing in school. I wasn't doing well in school. Because all of this unchecked kind of experiences in my mind that I wasn't taught how to deal with as a kid. But because of all this shit that happened, it ended up forming this personality now that has become quite self-aware of all of these things, obviously, because I'm talking about them. How is your enormous meat, my good sir? I assume you're talking about the one from Danganronpa 2 that I was streaming the other day. Want to sing sea shanties with my crew so bad. God damn. That's beautiful. Could use a sea shanty right about now. So cold, we got Bungsicle and a Malrinkicle. Oh, I'll see Shanty with you, Kamiko. Hey Berg, I was thinking about asking this. Check out her name is Becca, but I'm unsure what to do. We don't talk that much. We're more acquaintances than friends, and I don't really know what to do. Oh, I was asking this chick out. Sorry, I read it wrong. You want to ask her out, but you don't know what to do. The simple answer is just ask her out. It's acknowledge that it's gonna be a gamble. Acknowledge that they might say no. Acknowledge they might say yes. Although if you don't feel comfortable, maybe it is better to get to know her more, you know? Listen to her, try and, well, you can show that you listen to her. A lot of people like being listened to. You can do that essentially by, after talking with her, you can mention something she brought up earlier to show that you were listening to her. Or, I don't know, maybe if it goes well, you can start getting gifts or maybe going seeing movies that you know she'd like because of what you listened to her talk about. And it's just little things like that. You don't have to make it complicated. You don't have to clarify a whole bunch of things about it. You don't have to overthink it at all. Overthinking is what causes the awkwardness. Yeah, college course for game development, IT Carlo, which is neat. One problem, it's 3k euro per year for 4 years. Sayonara bank account. Oh. I like how you're like, time to brag, and then you finish off the brag with, but I'm gonna be poor. It's like, oh. Like, you couldn't even brag. Oh no. My experience with authority figures tried to instill a fear in me because they never understood how they wanted to live their lives and had their parental figures. And had the parental figures. I feel like that sentence might have been cut off. What do you think about Super Science Friends? I love those guys. They got some really good animations up on their channel. Really fun. I'm in one of their episodes. Next month will be my 1 year anniversary and I haven't gone to see him all this time. Oh, I'm so sorry, Nikki. Yeah, COVID is also keeping me away from my boyfriend, so I feel that. What's that song? It sounds dope as fuck. Let me check. Oh, I don't think there's a list, but I'm just playing like an 11-hour lo-fi beats, royalty-free thing. How do you not get nervous whilst voicing Connor or other characters? I like to do voice acting someday, but I keep feeling like I'm gonna embarrass myself. Oh no, I still get nervous. It's just something you need to get used to, you know. And that just means doing it without thinking about it too hard, at least, you know. You want to think about it enough to be able to determine if it's usable in the context that you want to use it for. But what's a lot more important than that is doing it. Because that's how you learn. That's how you learn if you like it. And I think a lot of the reason people don't like trying things is because they don't want to find out that they don't actually like it or that they're not good at it. But I think the feeling of wanting to do something because you're interested in it, you're curious about it, and you just want to do it, you know, this liveliness that is inherent in every living thing. I think feeding that is more important than whether or not people think you're good at what you do. Like, I dance all the time in my house. I'm not good at it. But when I feel like dancing, I don't go, no, I won't dance, it's stupid. I do dance. I let myself have more and more fun throughout my day. I let myself do things that I always wanted to do but decided not to do because it wasn't part of my character. Whatever the fuck that's supposed to mean. Like, I literally thought that way. I literally used to think that as, like, my character wouldn't do this, my character wouldn't say this, and then I would force myself to do things I didn't want to do because I thought that's what my character should do. You know, like, I thought, oh, you deserve to be punished. You thought something stinky. You did or said a naughty thing, Danny. Now you must be punished. See? Why am I doing this to myself? I can just acknowledge all of these thoughts and feelings that are coming up. I don't have to take them seriously. I don't have to do them all. I don't have to do every single thing that comes up in my head that has a loud enough authoritarian voice that it scares me into doing it. But I used to think that way. I used to think very much like that. I know a lot of people do. Let's destroy COVID together. Hashtag love is not terrorism. Amen. Been meaning to ask this one person out for ages, and I think they've caught on, but COVID just really stinks, and I don't want to wait too long to spill the beans. You can tell them. I mean, I admitted my feelings for my boyfriend during COVID. It's one of those things where, like, it's always a gamble anyway, but that's life. Life is all a gamble anyway. You don't get to choose where you're born and what advantages and disadvantages you have. And the fact that most people see the world in terms of advantages and disadvantages. And that it's scary and cruel and chaotic, but it's also the most beautiful and fulfilling experience you're ever going to experience in your life. It is the best and the worst thing that'll ever happen to you. And so many people focus on the fact that it is the worst thing that's ever happened to them. I forgot what we were talking about, but I naturally go on these tangents. We all just drift creating ripples until we die, so make those ripples peaceful. Yeah. I mean, if you're doing it right, then you won't have to keep making ripples. You make ripples for fun, and then you stop. Everything that we as humans should be doing is just whatever the fuck we want until we get bored, and we do something else. That should be it, right? We do whatever the fuck we want, and by whatever the fuck we want, you've probably thought of a few things that you're going to criticize as limiting, but whatever the fuck you want can be anything, you know? How many things are we doing right now just because we've been doing it for hundreds of years? This isn't what we want. This is what some people want, obviously, but most people are just doing it because it's easier. It's not exactly a blank canvas for a painting. It's like, just draw within the lines, kids, you know? Paint within the lines. That's how much creativity you get for today. Fun is the way for Lord Bung. I think fun is the way. I mean, fun, it's a bit of a funny word, but I used fun in the sense of what we were talking earlier about doing things for the sake of it, but in a positive way. Not doing things because you're obsessed with it or attached to it or because you're expecting something, anything. Like when I draw, obviously I expect there to be a final product, but I'm not thinking about it while I'm drawing. I'm just drawing. And I'm seeing how it goes. And I've basically signed a contract with myself once I started drawing that says, you don't know when this is going to end. It's just going to end when you're going to know when to stop drawing, essentially. But I'm not going to tell you what that is. And to a person who likes to be in control, that's scary, so they don't pursue anything creative or artistic, you know, because you have to be vulnerable and create. You have to express something from inside yourself, and you're worried that it's going to be ugly or bad or something, and like, people who are insecure don't want to do that, don't want to deal with that. Sorry, did I get it right, Bung? Your friend was on the Discord and we talked a bit, that's how I know. How you know what? I'm gonna scroll up. Bung is a one-man team. And I don't have Flash either. I'm not a one-man team, I have an animator, a co-animator. So I'd be remiss to not mention him, because he's amazing. He's really cool. Haven't eaten today, it's 11:50 a.m. Oh shit, you better get that munch and sip right now. Whatever will be, will be. Yeah, absolutely. What's fun to us can be our life purpose. It's important to enjoy life. Yeah, you can have a thing that you center your life for a few minutes or a few seconds or a few years. Just acknowledge that it probably won't be like that forever. And that'll help you transition easily into the next thing that you're going to be obsessing over. Not obsessing. Obsessing implies negative, but if you're doing the same thing for your entire life to the point where you feel like you can't live any other way, then that itself might be an issue. If you've been doing for something so long that you feel like you can't live without it, that might be a problem. Or it might cause a problem if you let it. That's what Buddhism teaches quite a lot, is about detachment, including detachment to the teachings of Buddhism, which is fun. But the idea essentially is that everything is impermanent, so if you want to experience a life that doesn't cause so much suffering, you acknowledge that in everything that you do. You know, you show love for something, you excitement or anger or whatever, any strong feelings or any strong opinions about whatever, they're always going to change. It's always going to change. And it kind of calms you down a little bit. It makes you feel like you shouldn't take these strong feelings too seriously. And that's why Buddhism, as a result, creates a much more calm, at least some Buddhism and some cultures, because some cultures just don't mix with Buddhism very well. But as a result, there are these techniques that are developed to calm people down, and that's something I think has been getting very popular in the West since like the 60s and 70s. Is that people have been bringing over meditation and yoga to the West, because we as a culture in the West don't have too many methods for relaxing aside from alcohol and really intense parties, essentially. You say we should do as we please, but should I exploit the travel system and be able to go anywhere in the world for an incredibly low cost? Well, putting my opinions about how much of a fucking scam international travel is in the context of the fact that everybody deserves to see long-distance relatives and loved ones and friends and, you know, maybe job-related stuff. When I say a perfect world in which we just do whatever we want, I don't mean we'll just take this world here and then stop doing what we're doing and then just do whatever we want, because then a bunch of things would collapse, because we've already signed these lifelong social contracts to run the world in this very particular way, which is a world that isn't easy for people to do what they like. It's a world where very few people get to do what they like, and everybody else is... Well, the trickle-down economics isn't working for everybody else. You know what I mean? So no, we don't get to do what we like in this world. Or at least it's harder to. But you can learn to appreciate doing the things that you can do. You can learn to appreciate those things. If you have a little bit of appreciation for them, they can always grow. Once you find peace in yourself, then you aren't actually under control by anyone anymore. Because every bad experience we've had that we developed in our childhood was caused by something that wasn't you. You were introduced cruelty into your universe. And that cruelty manifests in such a way where you were either incredibly anxious and try to avoid it, or you become cruel yourself because that's just how it is. You know, the world ain't fair. And in the same way, I think just sort of as a whole societally, we've built traumas on top of traumas on top of traumas, which we're desperately trying to escape it using technology and materialism, trying to distract ourselves so desperately from the fact that we had to do so many horrible things just to get to where we are. Not us personally, but like our ancestors. On top of them, causing lifelong trauma, repeating cycle, and until you become aware of it, you are stuck doing it. And that's why I like talking about this stuff, is because some people are like, oh, I didn't actually think about that. And the fact that it actually does affect the fact that you have this attitude towards nature, towards reality, towards other people. How all these things manifest in different ways, and we focus on all the little nitpicky differences between us, but we don't talk about the root cause of all of it, you know? Not to be the biggest bummer, but I gotta head out because these two classes going on while watching the stream mid-headache. Hope the stream goes smoothly. Take care and have a good one. Alright, see you, non-alien. I'm sorry that you have to leave. I'm sorry about the stinky headache. That really sucks. But I'm sure you're healing every second. Lopka 231 is based. I had a pretty bad experience with a place I was put as a kid. Luckily, it has since been shut down. Man. Yeah. It'd be rough out there. His whole channel is literally built on confinement. He should at least tell us when it's coming out. Not my whole channel. Most of my channel. You know who this channel is built on? It's actually me. I made confinement. Confinement is not a thing that I have become the CEO of and don't care about. Confinement is my thing. It's my creation. It's an expression of me. If you just were watching it because you wanted to see some cool SCPs, that's also fine. But I'm not entitled to tell you anything. You're not entitled for me to tell you anything. Yeah. That's what I was meant to say. No, wait, you are entitled. That's why this is a problem. You do not have that entitlement. But I will tell you anyway. I don't know when it's coming out. I don't know when episode 8 of Confinement is coming out. I'm still working on it. I'm not a very organized person. That's why I'm an artist. You know? And I have always been an artist. And I feel like I'm going to be an artist for a while. You know, whatever that broad definition means. My art itself will change very much, but I like creating. Hey Bung, can we get a funny childhood story or something? I'm going to have to think about that one. It's like totally wicked opinion. Let's see, funny childhood memory. I remember one time, well, all of my childhood memories in my backyard from my old house have all kind of merged into one memory, and that memory goes a little something like me pretending to throw giant triangles at my brother while running around in a singlet and flip-flops, slipping on dog shit that wasn't from a dog that we owned, and getting hit in the head by a coconut that I threw directly up into the air. And also one time the neighbor sprayed me with a hose. That's my entire information database for my childhood in the front and or backyard of my old house. Thank you, laziest comment. CEO of Confinement. Excuse me, the Bung channel is actually built on the Bung Chronicles. Can't wait for the next episode of that. You got it, just for you. Do people really now know about the other things you've made? Bung Chronicles, we're the 1,000 subscriber special too. God, I miss doing those silly little specials. Why is there a lady when there is a when I am? Interesting question. The story your friend told was how you didn't want to buy Flash, so how you animate now is on a separate art application, and you have to insert the frame into a different app to check if it goes smooth. Well, that's not the only reason I put it into the other app. I put it into the other app to animate it. I draw the frames out on an art program that only produces images, and I then put all of those images into a video program, just a normal video editing program, and then I put it together. But that's just the way I like to do it. I find that when all of my other animator friends in the community, whenever I would see them animating on Flash, I noticed it really wasn't faster. And if it was faster, it wasn't noticeable enough for me to be like, wow, I'm wasting so much time. You know, like I'm still doing it. It's just how I like to do it. Childhood sounds super cool, man. Bung gets hit by a falling coconut. The coconut makes an audible bonk sound, and a bunch of tiny cartoon stars flitter around his head. Yeah, and a big pink lump just grows out. A fucking horseshoe just, you know. you had to be a character in any movie, who would you be? Oh man, I'd be in so many movies. I just go back and forth between all these movies. Actually, a huge thing about when I fantasize about places that aren't real, and me having powers that aren't, you know, just or being in very specific scenarios, is that they're all kind of connected in a multiverse type thing in my head. Like, I make up some reason for it, some meta reason, like, time for me to go into this imagination scape, and I'm just like, and I fly in there, and I'm like, which one will I choose today? Like, I make a thing out of it, because I like to establish that it's a fun fantasy, you know? Bung, not gonna lie, I would totally dig a Giant of Serious style vid. I should get on that. I really should just make some fucking heavy shit with beautiful art, right? That sounds so good. It sounds like something that I should have done months ago. But instead, I have been not busy, like, busy with confinement, just like I have been busy on confinement. And I just haven't really been thinking about the logistics of making any other kind of video right now. So I'm hoping that when I finish this video, I would feel this kind of positive ennui and utilize that to make something creative. And maybe take a little bit more effort than just drawing something and posting it on Twitter, which I still do if you want to see stuff like that. Oh, I'm so sorry, Alpaka231, that you dislocated your collarbone. That fucking sucks. My childhood memories is my older sister tying me up like a hog with jump ropes, putting me in the kitchen table, pouring salt on me and saying she was gonna cook me. Oh my god. Lish. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry you got fucking hogtied. That sucks. And I'm so sorry you got covered in salt. Man. Not a salty lish. Not the lish and chips. Not the lish and chips. It's 5 AM here, I should try sleeping. Good night, everyone. Thanks for your awesome creations, Little Bung, and these chill stone streams that help my mind wind down. Thank you for joining them. Where do you gather your creativity from? That's an interesting way you put them. Gather creativity. You don't gather creativity. Everyone has creativity. Artists, well, people that are identified as artists. We just have a sort of easier access to it. And of course, I'm not saying that makes us better in any way. Everybody just has different ways of accessing creativity. And some people access it in such a way where you wouldn't even consider it art, but if people like doing what they're doing, and they just get absolutely lost in it because they feel like that's what they're meant to be doing. They love doing it. You know, let's say a window washer who just really loves doing it. I think that is more art than somebody who is just designing something they absolutely give no shits about. You know, I think art has more to do with that being in the zone kind of feeling. Like in that movie Soul, you know? If you've seen that one, then you pick some movie. I'm sorry you got hogtied without consent any other time. That sounds fun. Oh yeah, the character development. Like, it's true, all kinds of suffering creates character development. But but if anybody ever was like torturing you and saying it was for your character development, man, that's so messed up. Not better, just have a cemented idea of how to access it. Yeah, because there's a very narrow door that society has created that allows artists to do what they do. Whereas if we lived in a society with no expectations, or very few expectations, maybe very broad ones, like just don't die, then people, every single human being would be creative, because we'd all have to be, you know, we'd all have to be creative in some way. And the people who aren't, they also have their jobs too. But now, being creative is not considered a good thing because it's not profitable to sort of gamble with what you're creating. You know, it's really hard to get a job as an artist, they will tell you. And it's not necessarily true. In some ways it's true, in some ways it isn't. It's just not quantifiable because you can't decide what good art is. You have to have a huge census of people. You have to see what catches on and becomes popular to be able to predict any kind of monetary gain from it. And so if you're just like, I'm going to do my own art, people are like, oh, I don't know about that. I don't know about that one, chief. But we all have a need for creativity. We all have a desire to look at art. We look at things that represent reality all the time. It's just that most of the time it's just useful and convenient, like road signs or books or TV shows, whatever. News, I mean. And then you have art, which is like a more abstract expression of reality, which can sometimes express reality more realistically than the news or the books you read. Yeah, I'll forever hate that phrase, but if it doesn't have a negative weight for you, that's alright. Creativity? Is that... I don't know what you're talking. Do you know the average age of your audience? Because I kind of want to know. I think I checked, but that was like ages ago, so I'm just gonna check now. Get me in the studio. Shit. Oh, wait. Let's get in the stew, let's get in the stew. Analytics. Take me to subscribers and here. Man, I don't know. Does it say? Okay, 41% for the United States, followed by 5% in the UK, 4% Russia, 4% Canada. 87% male. And it's mostly 18 to 24 year olds. It's 42% 18 to 24 year olds. Okay, it's not bad. Followed by 25 to 34 year olds at 23%, and 35 to 44 year olds at 14%, and only a measly 8% of little babies. But I obviously suspect that some people just lie about their age when they create YouTube accounts so they could see the naughty stuff. Imagine getting your hands stuck in cement when you were younger. Definitely not me. Oh my god. You seem chill. Cool to know creator is just a normal dude. You keep doing what you do so well. Thank you, if91100. I appreciate that. Is hair dye required to be creative? No, definitely not required. I just like having my hair dyed. I did it today. I was really happy with it. The people at the barbers were also actually kind of surprised at how good it ended up looking. At first, when I told them I wanted it green and I showed them all the reference images, they were like, "Oh, are you sure about that, son? Are you sure about that? I mean, we can do something else." And by the end of it, they were like, "Oh, actually, this actually looks kind of good." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm loving the confidence, but You know, it's like, why? They'll try to tell me trauma isn't character building. All I've ever known is a lie. This is the cake is a lie, levels of upsetting. Trauma is definitely character building. Just don't celebrate trauma, you know? Just be appreciative that it happened because it happened, not because it could have been better. It shoulda, coulda, woulda, it doesn't matter. It happened. Whatever happened, happened. And the trauma that is from that, you can let it define you in a negative way, or you can let it define you in a positive way. That comes from just visiting the trauma in very minuscule doses, like homeopathy. You know, you're just exposing yourself very gently towards the thing that causes the trauma, and eventually you get a nuanced relationship with it. And as long as you don't overthink it, it'll sort of float away. I like the wording of gather creativity. I feel like a majority of my ideas come from warping existing things. I'm not saying it's bad, but inspiration comes from everywhere, even Paul Blart. It's true. I get my inspiration from all sorts of crazy movies and put it in the confinement. Yeah, creativity is already there. You just need to find something that might inspire or excite you enough to access it. No, that comment I said was about its character building. Yeah, I mean, there are probably better ways to do it. If you want to just be like super objective, change. Change is the only thing that is real in reality. Change. Nothing is real in the sense that nothing lasts forever. You know, I might call myself whatever. It's not an eternal label. Whatever name you have for yourself is not an eternal label either. At some point, people will stop using that name. And at some point in history, people never use that name to describe you, at least. And because everything is permanent, it is a cause of suffering. But, it means you don't have to take your problems so seriously. You know? None of it is really that serious. Everything's like a dream. Life is but a dream, like that row, row, row your boat song. Life is just one big dream, not in the sense that you're going to wake up in a bed at the end of it, but in the sense that the real and not real, and dream and waking mind, being awake, being asleep, these are all just ideas. They're just words. They're just silly little words. What's the... Tell me how that is reality. It isn't. You know, reality is like a dream because you can't tell if it's real or not. We prefer to think it's real because it freaks us out otherwise, but you can't actually prove that. And so you go through life not really giving a shit about it. Well, I do at least. It doesn't matter to me if reality is real or not, it's happening. And how am I going to navigate it? Well, I can navigate it with as much curiosity and fun as I want. And I don't have to take it seriously. Because it might not be real at the end. It's fine. You know? I'm not expecting anything at the end. I might have some expectations, but I don't think I'm attached to any. Whoop, 26 here, I'm above the average. I enjoy being outside the average spectrum. Hell yeah. What hair did I use? I used to use Manic Panic brand due to its ease of use and lifetime before fading. Oh, I have no idea. I just did it at the shop. I just did it at the place. I didn't even know they were doing it when they were washing my hair. I thought they were just washing my hair. Then I got up and I was like, oh, fuck. I've got 10 assignments to do tomorrow. Holy shit, epic toast bread. I'm so sorry. Bung, it's been 9 months since the accident. You've been drifting in space for the last 11 months. Talking to your spaceship window. It's not too late to still go back to Earth. Yeah. That's my life, huh? That sounds actually a little better. A little better this fiction that I've created for the stream. The only trauma I experienced was when my grandpa just left me in a tractor while I was moving, not even moving that fast. I cried since I got scared that I would crash it or something. I was 5. Aw, that's messed up. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry to tell you that being born is a trauma. You know, when a baby come into life just crying after being for 9 months in liquid, having to use its lungs for the first time and experiencing weight, experiencing gravity, experiencing intense light, you know, and then of course getting your belly cord snipped. And then if you're a penis haver in America, you probably get a little foreskin snippy too. I think that definitely sets a lot of trauma at a young age. And obviously I'm not blaming anybody, this is nobody's fault. It's just a thing that happens. What if we are in a coma and everyone is just a figment of our imagination? Then I would have just as much fun in that scenario as if it was real life. Rhiannon! Oh my god. Wait, I see you. Green hair Beatty? Green hair Beatty, you look amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much, Rhiannon. Hey. Shout out to my friend Rhiannon. She's cool. She's wholesome 500. Mamma mia, Marcello, that's not how you make a lo-fi beats. Sorry for fanboys me, but I love you and your work. Thank you. Thank you, the Bobladon noise. Yes. Went through a lot of trauma, very little of it got properly dealt with in therapy, like finally opening up after feeling guilt over others have it worse, only to have them say, others have it worse, get over it. When telling like 1% of what happened behind those doors in Sweden, I felt myself more. Man. Yeah. People really think that like others have it worse. Like hearing that is going to help when a part of your problem is that you do put yourself below others. So to hear that, it doesn't help. It really doesn't help. Why would it? It would. I don't understand. It's very silly. Everybody is programmed in these very wildly unique ways because of their experiences, and we approach them as if they were really simple. That it was an insanely simple thing. Like, why do people have that habit? This need to simplify things. I think that attitude comes from what I was talking earlier about how we have this obsession to categorize nature that started, you know, thousands of years ago. But for even longer than civilization has been around, we've been living with nature very peacefully. That was kind of the prime of our species, you know. We were as intelligent as we were, except that we chose not to shape nature differently from how it already systematically is. But then this attitude of like, no, we gotta simplify it, we gotta make it complicated so that we can invent simplicity, and that we gotta categorize and control things so that everything falls into this very simple system of right and wrong, of the correct way of viewing reality and the incorrect way of viewing reality. You know? Because you can't look at a tree and say that's a wrong tree. You gotta tear it down, and then you gotta make it into chairs, and then you can say that, well, that chair's good and that chair's not very good. Because we've made chairs. They exist as a function. They don't exist as a thing that just exists. And we need to surround ourselves with more things that just exist. You know what I mean? Trees, rocks, whatever, you know, the sky, it just exists. And so do we. We came from that place of just existing. Just existing, you know, nothing more than that, because there doesn't need to be more than that. There isn't more than that, you know? Loki's starting to believe in karma though, because the biological father is definitely getting what is deserved. Holy shit. Well, there you go. Yeah, I mean, karma is not in the way a lot of Christians have interpreted it as, you know, you do bad things so you get punishment by the universe. Karma just means doing, thing that you do, you know, action, moving forward, some kind of motion. It is just doing. So what karma is, when people say that's karma, it's essentially what you've been collecting, what you've been doing your entire life, and what that has created, and what it then causes. You know, if you, for example, get into the habit of shit talking behind people's backs, you're more likely to get caught just because you've made that a habit. And you're more likely to, you know, ruin somebody's day or end up in an awkward situation where somebody hears you, or you end up getting paranoid that other people are doing the same thing because that's what you do, and you end up projecting onto others. Which is why doing anything quote unquote just bad, full stop, we call it bad because it has this double-edged sword effect on you. Not because, I mean, it depends who you're talking to. A mystic or a sage or a guru or a, you know, an indigenous elder, or anybody who, psychoanalysis, anybody who understands how the mind works would tell you not to do these things because they cause these things that you don't want. But if you're listening to somebody who's trying to explain some sort of rule set for a society, they would say, don't do this thing because it is illegal, you know, because it will create some kind of distrust in the community. But you have to sort of fix yourself first before you can do anything with other people. Bung has a nice cut and hair color. Thank you, Bob the Builder. Big fan of your work. Dastardly. It truly is my Hanna-Barbera brother. There he is. Read about natural law. Karma is one of the principal correspondents. Yeah, it just means the cause and effect of the universe. It just means doing. So, you know, if okay, like let's just imagine a void, and if heat ever decided to rise, then cold would have to be created, because you can't have heat without cold. It's just, these are inseparable concepts. And so the karma of that heat is the cold, right? The result of that heat is that some things have to be cold so that other things can be hot. Because if everything was hot, then it wouldn't be hot. It would just be a baseline void. It would be a void, just a void of nothing. Everything has its opposite, and so, well, it has its polar. Everything has its polar. So everything that you do creates. Every cause has an effect, and not a lot of people are taught about this anymore. And so as a result, we end up doing so many stupid goddamn things. To the point where we've developed entire genres about how much we fuck up. You know, we laugh about it, and it is funny, because we should laugh when we fuck up. Hail Discordia, praise Aris. Yeah, we're getting chaotic in here. Everyone has words of wisdom and stuff like that. Will I just sit here just sleepy? Yeah, well, everybody does have words. Like, we all have our own sort of little profound moments. Stuff is bad only because we say it is. That's true. It's just a label. That's not me trying to get away with something terrible. or anything, but people have used it to try and get away with terrible things. But really, truly, bad is just a label. So is good, and that doesn't mean that it's not real. In the same way that, like, oh, Santa Claus is a lie. It's more like real in the way that Santa Claus just makes Christmas so much fucking better. You know? It makes it more exciting because you get to play a game. Rules that we create in the universe, I like to call them games because you don't have to take them seriously and you don't have to play them. So social rules, like you must obey the law, well, that's a game. If you don't mind getting arrested, you could also play that game. If you really need to do something, but that requires breaking the law, then that's a game that you play as well. It's all just a game. There's no right way or wrong way of playing the game. It's just something that everybody seems to be given the opportunity to, but most people take seriously. Oh yeah, his actions and toxic behaviors after so many years of catching up to him, he is his own downfall. That's, well, not great for him, but like, that's great for you. I'm so glad that you're able to see the universe at work there. How's the wrist? It's fine. It's can't believe whole planets in nature, like black holes, entire galaxies, like the entire universe is just nature. That's crazy. Yeah, and something that's, it's a bit of a semantic thing, but even the things that we do as people is also nature, even the things that are quote-unquote unnatural. But that's because we've been using nature to describe the unknown culturally. We use it that way instead of using it to describe it in the sort of Buddhist way, which is just that the nature of motion, the nature of all things, including things that we invent. Because there is a karma to the things that we create too. It's just karma that we seem to prefer in the short term. Because if I have this cool car, despite the fact that it spews fumes, I will at least have a cool car for a few years. And that's all I care about right now, because I'm rushing to my grave and I cannot wait a single second being cool carless. You know, it's the karma of that is not only are you making the planet shittier, but is that you put your happiness into an object, and now that object is going to go to waste and you're going to feel like shit. That object will you'll eventually get bored of that object and you're going to feel like shit that you got it. Or, I don't know, maybe it crashes and you can't afford it, you become poor, you can't afford it, or I don't know, something emotionally significant happens on it and you just don't want to look at it anymore. I don't know. Everything changes, nothing is permanent, and so placing all your happiness into a material thing in this universe is going to cause suffering. And that's okay if you're okay, as long as you acknowledge that the suffering is part of it. But I don't mean this as a way to like scare you into living in a certain way. I mean this in a way to help you appreciate that pain and pleasure are intertwined. You cannot live without, you cannot experience one without the other. That's part of the game. And so, when you suffer, just try and remember why you suffered. It's because you've really liked, you really got pleasure out of something that is directly related to the suffering. Because you only suffer, there's a difference between pain and suffering. You can experience pain, like I have a lot of pain physically in my body. I don't know if it'll be labeled as chronic, but it's very, very persistent. And a lot of the time I don't suffer because I decided that I don't want to play that game. I don't feel like I need to get better. I mean, that's a weird way to word it. I don't feel like I need to be not in pain because I can't control it, And so I accept it, and then it's not suffering anymore, it's just pain. Pain isn't really that big a deal because it's like it becomes a weird, vague tension. Like, I have this weird, vague tension in my head now. It seems pretty strong, but if I was identifying it as me and being like, oh, I have a fucking headache, this fucking sucks. I wish I was back at that time and place where I didn't have a headache. that's when I'm suffering. It's because I want to be away from the headache. So, you know, take care of yourself, but when suffering comes, and it always does, just remember that it's one side of a coin to the pleasure that was giving you so much meaning and fulfillment. And they're completely inseparable. Cool cause, huh? What you talking about? Your non-beanie? That's so poggers. Non-beanie? Just because you can doesn't mean you should. You don't need to be going fast to hurt yourself. Pissed and tired, go to bed. No photographic or videographic evidence. That's your Blackett rules. Your Aiden Blackett rules. Bung condoning murder, awesome. Don't think I said that. Don't think I condoned murder. This is a pretty existential stream, thanks Jacksepticeye. Good Bung, good morning, and good God, what plant did you put on your head? I'm a pineapple now. Not even a little bit of biney. That's epic poggers. I'm getting a kitty this Saturday, sending chill vibes everyone's way. Fuck yeah. Thank you so much, Snick. Let me just... inhaling those vibes. Those I'm about to get a kitty vibes. Oh. Kittens are really good. Dogs are really good too. Just having a little being that is more defined by its liveliness than its critical thinking is a good thing to have in the house, you know? Don't be afraid to begin to identify with your pets, because they're living a better life than you, definitely. I love SpongeBob. You did a much better job dyeing your hair than I ever could. Good job. Oh man, the nailsmith. I hope you get good hair dye one day. Get a good hair job. Hair job. What's with the gay cut, bruh? The gay cut? Not the gay cut. Oh no, he's got the gay cut. Oh, boo. We hate your pussy. Boo. Yeah, not the gay cut. Okay, well it's 10 o'clock. I'm supposed to be doing something at 10 o'clock-ish. But I haven't been getting any messages yet, so... But I'm still gonna end the stream anyway. Because I'm a bit tired. But I'm gonna be, if you're in my Patreon, I'm gonna be doing a movie night, I think. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Just don't know what just yet. No worries, Komiko. Thank you for joining the stream. Alright, I'm gonna be heading out now. Really appreciate all of you who are still here, and for all of the people who were here, for all the people who have ever been here for whatever reason. Thank you so deeply from the bottom of my heart that you were just taking a chance and, you know, sitting here listening to me ramble about nonsense. I really appreciate that I can rely on this, that I could just turn on a stream and see like a whole bunch of people. You just have to listen to my nonsense. Yeah. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the compliments about my hair, my nails. I know they're superficial things, but I like them, so it's nice to hear that some people also like them. So, Hare Krishna. again, very thankful. Have a lovely day, or night, or afternoon, or whatever. You know.